तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
लंबोदरा जय गौरीसुता लंबोदरा जय गौरीसुता गणाधिपा जय गजानना गणाधिपा जय गजानना लंबोदरा जय गौरीसुता बालचंद्राधर गजकर्णेश्वरा बालचंद्राधर गजकर्णेश्वरा पर्तीश्वरा मां पाहि प्रभो साईश्वरा मां पाहि प्रभो लंबोदरा जय गौरीसुता गणाधिपा जय गजानना लंबोदरा जय गौरीसुता बालचंद्राधर गजकर्णेश्वरा पर्तीश्वरा मां पाहि प्रभो साईश्वरा मां पाहि प्रभो लंबोदरा जय गौरीसुता चंद्रकलाधर सांब सदाशिव चंद्रकलाधर सांब सदाशिव चंद्रकलाधर सांब सदाशिव शंभो महादेवा शंभो महादेवा शंभो महादेवा शिव शंभो महादेवा शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः चन्द्रकलाधर साम्ब सदा शिव शम्भो महादेवा शम्भो महादेवा शिव शम्भो महादेवा ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः चन्द्रकलाधर साम्ब सदा शिव
देवी भवानी जगत जननी देवी भवानी जगत जननी मंदहासिनी आनंददायिनी मंदहासिनी आनंददायिनी देवी भवानी जगत जननी मंगलकारिणी कारुण्यरूपिणी मंगलकारिणी कारुण्यरूपिणी नारायणी देवी नारायणी नारायणी देवी नारायणी महिषासुरमर्दिनी अम्बे भवानी महिषासुरमर्दिनी अम्बे भवानी देवी भवानी जगत जननी मंदहासिनी आनंददायिनी मंगलकारिणी कारुण्यरूपिणी नारायणी देवी नारायणी महिषासुरमर्दिनी अम्बे भवानी महिषासुरमर्दिनी अम्बे भवानी देवी भवानी जगत जननी चित चोरा मुरली वाला चित चोरा मुरली वाला नंदलाल नंद गोपाला नंदलाला 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 वृंदावन श्याम गोपाला वृंदावन श्याम गोपाला मथुरा व्रज गोकुल बाला मथुरा व्रज गोकुल बाला मनमोहन मदन गोपाला मनमोहन मदन गोपाला नंदलाला 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 नंदलाल नंद गोपाला नंदलाला 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 चित चोरा मुरली वाला नंदलाल नंद गोपाला नंदलाला नंदलाला वृंदावन श्याम गोपाला मथुरा व्रज गोकुल बाला मनमोहन मदन गोपाला नंदलाला नंदलाला नंदलाल नंद गोपाला नंदलाला 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 चित चोरा मुरली वाला गोविंद मुरारी गोपाल मुरारी गोविंद मुरारी गोपाल मुरारी विठ्ठल श्री हरी पांडुरंगा विठ्ठल श्री हरी पांडुरंगा हृदय विहारी हे गिरिधारी हृदय विहारी हे गिरिधारी मुरहर शौरी पांडुरंगा मुरहर शौरी पांडुरंगा गोविंद मुरारी गोपाल मुरारी विठ्ठल श्री हरी पांडुरंगा हृदय विहारी हे गिरिधारी मुरहर शौरी पांडुरंगा मुरहर शौरी पांडुरंगा गोविंद मुरारी गोपाल मुरारी
जय कृष्णा कुंज विहारी जय कृष्णा कुंज विहारी जय राधा हृदय विहारी जय राधा हृदय विहारी जय यमुना तीर विहारी जय यमुना तीर विहारी जय गोपी के हृदय विहारी जय गोपी के हृदय विहारी जय माधव रास विहारी जय माधव रास विहारी जय साई पति विहारी जय साई पति विहारी जय कृष्णा कुंज विहारी जय राधा हृदय विहारी जय यमुना तीर विहारी जय गोपी के हृदय विहारी जय माधव रास विहारी जय साई पति विहारी जय साई पति विहारी जय कृष्णा कुंज विहारी
नंदलाला नंदलाला दया करो भगवान नंदलाला नंदलाला दया करो भगवान भव सागर से पार उतारो भव सागर से पार उतारो दया करो भगवान कृपा करो भगवान तुम्हारी शरण बिन नाथ है भगवान दया करो भगवान कृपा करो भगवान साई कृपा करो भगवान नंदलाला नंदलाला दया करो भगवान भव सागर से पार उतारो दया करो भगवान कृपा करो भगवान तुम्हारी शरण बिना नाथ है हम दया करो भगवान कृपा करो भगवान साई कृपा करो भगवान नंदलाला नंदलाला दया करो भगवान पांडुरंग विठला जय पांडुरंग विठला पांडुरंग विठला जय पांडुरंग विठला कस्तूरी रंग विठला कमनीय रंग विठला कस्तूरी रंग विठला कमनीय रंग विठला जय पांडुरंग विठला गोविंद रंग विठला गोपाल रंग विठला विठला परतीश रंग विठला जय साई रंग विठला जय पांडुरंग विठला कस्तूरी रंग विठला कमनीय रंग विठला विठला जय पांडुरंग विठला गोविंद रंग विठला गोपाल रंग विठला कल्याण रंग विठला करुणार्थ रंग विठला परतीश रंग विठला जय साई रंग विठला परतीश रंग विठला जय साई रंग विठला पांडुरंग विठला जय पांडुरंग विठला.
We discussed that we are all tiny parts of God, who is an ocean of bliss. Hence, we have the inherent urge to be blissful. And we cannot rest contented until we get such bliss, which is infinite in extent, which is ever fresh, and once attained, it will never be snatched away from us. That is the Sat Chit Anand of God. That bliss will be attained when we attain God Himself. In order to attain God, we will have to go beyond the purview of our senses, mind, and intellect, because He is divine beyond the material realm. And hence we must not harbor this vanity that by our intellectual analysis we'll be able to fathom God. He is only known when He bestows His grace and grants to the soul His divine intellect. On receiving God's power, any fortunate soul can see Him, hear Him, reach Him, think of Him, know Him, and attain Him. However, God's grace is not a whimsical act from His side. We will need to do something to attract His mercy. What will we need to do? We discussed His eternal law. He graces those who surrender to Him. Yesterday we discussed that it is the mind which needs to be surrendered. For the mind is the cause of bondage and the mind is the cause of liberation. Our mind is presently attached to the world. If we are aspiring to attain God realization, we must deeply contemplate how to detach the mind from the world. And we discussed this will require us to understand that the happiness of our soul is not in material objects. When the intellect holds this discrimination, this vivek, it will then develop the power to pull the mind away from the world. Just like you pull your mind away from a cup of poison, even though it is very tasteful, for you know it has the ability to kill you. Hence, Sri Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanudarshanam. Arjun, repeatedly think of the defects of this world, its miseries and torments. Your mind will then come away from it. But the mind coming away is only half the story. The second half is how now to attach this mind to God. This requires practice. Just like in the material realm, you mastered so many skills. Whether you became a graduate, a postgraduate, whether you became a painter, a dancer, a writer, whatever required focused and repeated practice. Similarly, if you wish to move ahead in your spiritual practice, the first step will be to assign some time from your daily schedule for your personal sadhana. So we need to take out some time every day. How much time should we take out, Swamiji? According to the Vedas, 1/10 of your time is prescribed for sadhana. 1/10 means roughly 2 hours. That is the prescribed time. Now 2 hours seems impossible in the modern scenario. At least take out 1 hour. Make a firm resolve from today onwards. Whatever happens, I will definitely allot this 1 hour for my own soul. Now, what do you do in this 1 hour or 2 hours? What is the sadhana that is to be done? Navadha Bhakti is very popular. The ninefold processes of devotion. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. This was stated by Prahlad Maharaj in the Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, 7th canto, 5th chapter, 23rd verse. And it was highlighted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhajanair Shresh Navadha Bhakti. Tar Madhye Sarva Shresh Nam Sankirtan. And Mahaprabhu Vallabhacharya also highlighted. So all the Bhakti Acharyas started highlighting, hence Navadha Bhakti became extremely popular. Now you can do any of these ninefold processes of devotion. Worshipping the Lord in His deity form, offering prayers, chanting His names, serving, etc., etc. Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. So you do any of these ninefold processes of devotion. But one of these 9 is compulsory. Without that one, it is all one big zero. What is that one? Smaranam. Smaranam means remembrance. Because ultimately the mind needs to be purified. So in your sadhana, you have to take your mind to God. So how do we do smaranam? How do we remember God? That is what Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj always emphasized. He said, do Rupa Dhyan. What is Rupa Dhyan? Bring the image of God before you. Now the mind will have a basis to rest upon. Like for example, you remember somebody in the world. Arey bhai, where is that person? Who? That one who's come from Fort Worth. So many have come from Fort Worth. That tall guy. See, he's brought his image to mind. The tall person. Tell me little more. That darkish complexion. Ha, Ramesh. So before taking the name of Ramesh, he brought the image of Ramesh to his mind. Similarly, when you are saying Sitaram, when you are saying Radhe Shyam, you are recalling the Lord. Before that, bring His image to your mind and now take the name. The mind now has a basis for devotion, for love. Now here people raise some objections. They say, Swamiji, I have never seen God. How will I meditate upon Him? See, God is causelessly merciful. He says, visualize me as you wish. And increase your love. Increase your attachment. That's all that's required. Visualize me as you like. Come to the state of Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, complete surrender. When you reach that state, I will bestow my grace. And by my grace, when I give that power in your mind, that is called Shuddha Sattva. Not material Sattva Gun, Shuddha Sattva. When that is added to the mind, your mind will become divine. And with that divine mind, you will not have to imagine God. You will see Him as He is. When will that happen? After God realization, when He gives you the power. And before that, what you do? Before that, God says, don't worry. Just visualize me as you wish. Now, somebody says, Swamiji, that image of Radha Krishna in the temple, I just love it. Can I meditate on it? Sure. Somebody says that image of Sri Krishna in the painting in my friend's house is very enchanting. Can I meditate on it? Sure. But make one correction. Meditate on the living God. In other words, let Him come out of the image. Let Him come out of the deity. The deity is the basis. And you bring God out from there. He's talking, He's walking, His hands and feet are moving. After all, God is not insentient. He is supremely sentient. So with the basis of the deity, basis of the picture, you engage in your devotion, meditating on the Supreme Lord in naturality. He is coming to me, I am coming to Him. Then you will never get bored. And if your meditation is that the Lord just stands with His four hands holding the Shank Chakra Gada Padma and He practically doesn't do anything, then you will say, God is very boring, my little child is more interesting, the mind will go there. Sadhana doesn't have to be boring. The Lord is the ocean of bliss. Enliven your sadhana. He has all varieties of rasas, Saukumarya, Saashilya, Saurasya, Roop Madhuri, Murli Madhuri, Leela Madhuri. Utilize all that. So we have done the first step now. You have His image in front. Further, You can even meditate upon his pastimes. He is in Vrindavan, he's playing with his friends. I am watching that divine pastime. See, to take the mind to God, you utilize his name and the image. But that's also not enough. The mind wants activity. So meditate on his pastimes. The pastimes of the Lord are so enchanting. After that, meditate on the qualities, the virtues of God. He is the ocean of bliss. He is my eternal Father. He is my soul beloved. Bring these qualities to your mind again and again and again. And then you can even serve him in the mind. There he is, I'm pressing his feet, I'm bathing him, I'm feeding him. This is the Manasi Seva. In this way, in a natural way, you take your mind to God. Now, as a helper for this sadhana, there's another thing you can do. And what is that? That is kirtan, chanting. Take some kirtan, sing it with your ears here and with the mind meditate. Initially, when you do meditation, you don't get the bliss of God. That is why the kirtan is helpful. The music, the ahro, the avro, different names, different qualities of God, they all keep coming. They help keep your mind engaged. But remember, in the kirtan, the most important is the remembrance. Chanting and hearing will help you. And when we keep on doing like this will bring us to a higher state of meditation. Viraha bhav. When will I see him? When will the day come when he will manifest here and give his darshan to me? In other words, now the mind and the senses which were longing for the world have started longing for God. That is the sign of purification. But the sadhana is not complete. Keep on longing. That longing will result in the heart melting. Now you will feel helpless. I wish to meet him, but I have no means. So seeing yourself as shelterless, you then cry out to him for his grace. Those tears you shed in loving devotion to God, they cleanse the heart of endless lifetimes of dirt. Tears in loving devotion for God will cleanse the mind. But your sadhana is still not complete. Carry on. Until you come to that point which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described. Yugayitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrishayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. He says, now without having darshan of Sri Krishna, the whole world is seeming void. One moment in waiting has become like an age long. And tears are constantly showering from the eyes. That will be the state of antahkaran shuddhi, purification of the heart. That is the stage for which God and Guru are waiting. When we prepare our vessel to that point, when we cleanse our heart up to that stage, then we have reached the Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, complete surrender. Now God's grace will come. the divine grace that we are seeking. And when that comes, what will happen? Vidyate hridayagranthis chidyante sarva sanchaya kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. The Shvetashvatar Upanishad says, those bonds of Maya, Trigun, they will be cut asunder. The afflictions of the material energy, Tritap, Tridosh, Panchaklesh, Panchakosh, they will all be wiped off. Our karmas, Kshiyante Chasya Karmani, the Sanchit karmas of endless lifetimes, God will burn them. And Tasmin Drishte Paravare, we will become complete with His love, His bliss, and His knowledge. In other words, we will now be united with Him. As long as we live in this body, we will be in the Jivan Mukta stage. And when we leave this body, we will go to His divine abode to eternally participate in His Nitya Leela, His divine pastimes. So this is the path to happiness.
Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Swami Sathya Sai Hare, Bhaktagana Samrakshaka, Bhaktagana Samrakshaka, Pati Maheshwara. Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Shashi Bhagana Shri Kala Sarva Pranapati, Swami Sarva Pranapati, Ashrita Kalpaladika, Ashrita Kalpaladika, Aparpandava. Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Mata Pita Guru Deivam Mariyantayu Neeve, Swami Mariyantayu Neeve, Nana Brahma Jagannatha, Nana Brahma Jagannatha, Nagendra Shayana. Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Sathya Sai Mahadeva, Mangala Harati Antuko, Mangala Harati Antuko, Mangala Giridhari. Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Narayana Narayana, Om Sathya Narayana Narayana Narayana, Narayana Narayana, Om Sathya Narayana Narayana, Sathya Narayana Narayana. Om Jai Sadguru Deva, Narayana Narayana, Om Sathya Narayana Narayana Narayana, Narayana Narayana, Om Sathya Narayana Narayana, Sathya Narayana Narayana. Om Jai Sadguru Deva, Narayana Narayana, Sathya Narayana Narayana Narayana, Narayana Narayana, Sathya Narayana Narayana, Sathya Narayana Narayana. Om Jai Sadguru Deva. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu, Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu, Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Om शान्तिः।
जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।